Dayin', this is RMKing. You niggas playin'. I'm just sayin', blow all dayin'. Hot box statin', Grand Canyon saving. Yeah.
On that cheap in the lighter, high as the empire, feel like I'm walking on wire. See, I blows like Mariah. I be looking for that Jesus stadium. I know Curry Joe, it's smooth out the leader. I blows like Mariah. On that cheap in the lighter, high as the empire, feel like I'm walking on wire. See, I blows like Mariah. I be looking for that Jesus stadium. I know Curry Joe, it's smooth out the leader.
Smoking pound after pound, drinking round after round. We getting loud by the leaders, that's just how we getting down. Jay knocks the house when they repeat that when I come around. In your pockets, loose chains, brave once and I'm out. City of the scope, speed slow to that dope. Choking on my throat, got me coughing out smoke. Keep your bad chick where I'm from, she keeps me smiling. She coming like green, so I never stop lighting. Down to the wire, burn my fingers, saving doobies in the whip. Hot box music for the blazers, yeah, we choosing roach clips. Don't wanna burn my lips, grip tight, on with blunts. Never held my fingers when we riding around, nigga.
I blows like Mariah, that cheap in the lighter. High as the empire, feel like I'm walking on wire. See, I blows like Mariah, got me looking for that Jesus stadium. I know Terry Polo is smooth out the leader. I blows like Mariah, that cheap in the lighter. High as the empire, feel like I'm walking on wire. See, I blows like Mariah, got me looking for that Jesus stadium. I know Terry Polo is smooth out the leader.
Stop young well, like my fire not broken. Ride around town, making fatty, get me smoking. Take a few hits on my breath and I blow.
Yo. Alright. on, you know, do the sunset on you, or do it rise on you? It's like it's set. Then I'm like, then you on the West Coast. So, you know, I know science here. So anyway, so we got you on the phone because you had Bars Fest in Colorado Springs here on Saturday. So talk to me about how that went.
Oh man, it went real good. You know, everybody came out. It was a bunch of people. All the artists did their thing. You know what I mean? It was mad love out there. Real mad love.
Well, so okay, so as far as now, a lot of my listeners know the local hip hop scene out there in Colorado Springs. Obviously, being fans of the music. So who did we have from that city there? You know, that was, you know, a little bit more of a prominent name. You know, did we have like, you know, Gaddafi and the Cut Gang out there? Did we have Dead Mike? Was was Wes Rockus out there? I mean, who was out there?
Yeah, my boy Wes was out there rocking the stage. The homegirl Butters and Pharaoh was doing their thing. You know what I mean?
Butters flying stuff with her big old booty.
Yeah, man, that big old thing, man.
she ain't afraid to let you know she got some junk in the trunk. That's for sure.
I mean, if you can't see it, you gotta be blind, man.
Right, it ain't tricking if you got it either.
So those days, like, whoa.
So, you know, I've known you for about a year now. It's a little over a year now, and I've watched you grow from that. Like we talked about, I DJ'd that first show that was like the last not so great show. Now, first off, let me just explain to my fan base out there that I'm a very talented DJ. That's not what we mean by it didn't go well. It wasn't the music or the performance. It's just the attendance wasn't up. And so that's what, whenever I hear you say the word, you know, not a good show, 90% of the time I got to say that is etched purely off of the attendance, which I can understand.
Yeah, that was the last show where I didn't have a packed house. But with that show, it was also people that wasn't listening to me and didn't feel that my formula would work to bring a packed house, you know, to wherever venue I'm in. So after that show, I just went on ahead and did things by myself just so I could show other people, hey, I have vision and that will work. You know what I mean? And in history, when people have vision and other people tell them that, hey, that won't work, 9 times out of 10, they'll break away and do it themselves. And half of those people become successful.
So you're saying I got a 50-50 shot with High Tide Stick out here in Florida?
Yeah, man. I mean, once you find your formula, a way of work, you know what I mean, you can have an international radio show. You know what I mean? For wherever you want to put it, you know what I mean? Like, I've been doing shows myself since 2008. Now, they haven't been the best of shows, but each show I took the positive and got rid of the negative.
Well, I mean, that seems like a basic business concept right there. I mean, you keep what works right, you get rid of what doesn't work well. I mean, that's business 101 for most people.
Think of it like this. September 21st, 2014 was the last show I had when it was only 20 people in there. So last Saturday, it was a full house. You know what I mean? So even a lot of people was next door at the bar.
How was the Denver show too? Because wasn't there one in Denver on Friday?
No, there wasn't one on Denver on Friday. It was the first one we had because we had a party bus and all that just for the prelims, you know, pre-party for the Bars Fest, so the surprise birthday party for my boy Joey Knox in Town Stories. So,
I love Joey. I was just listening to that song Mariah that I did with him years ago. I love it. That was my dude.
That's my guy right there, man. He was definitely my guy.
So
he keeps me on my toes.
Let's so let me ask you a couple questions. He keeps me too. He be on my butt. He is a little. Most people don't know him if they don't know him in person. He's a very little guy, but he be on you like he a big dog in the car. Like he really do be on me. Like Trey, you can't be doing that, Trey. You got to do this, Trey. I feel like I got a little big brother on my heels nipping.
He be on it. You know what I mean? but he was the first to tell me, like, I don't know what happened, but it happened, and I'm glad it did. You know what I mean? So, you know, but you know, at the same time, it's a blessing though, from having shows that a lot of people don't go to starting Bars Fest, and Bars Fest is known internationally across the world.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Bars Fest. So what do you got on Bars Fest coming up the rest of this year before you get into the 2016 tour calendar?
Actually, that was the last one of the year in of 2015. I got one in Long Beach starting January, and then it goes Long Beach, Houston, Louisiana, Atlanta, Las Vegas, then Tampa Bay in July.
Yep.
And
that's that one that we are trying to get everything finalized. Matter of fact, I have some business calls today to just make sure that we at least secure the venue like quickly, so that I can start doing my promotions. Because I've been doing this a long time too, and I've been through many formulas that don't work and only a few that do. And I know that the one thing is I can sell water to the ocean. The catch is I still need a place to put the damn water.
that's always the issue. You know what I mean?
Venue.
Yeah, if you have a venue to lock down, I can put bodies in the venue.
And
I just gotta know.
That's where, like, you know, we've had these talks where, you know, a lot of these artists don't realize that this isn't, you know, you ain't going up, you know, we always call it like thugged out or nigga rich, right? Let's keep it real. That's what we call it. And we don't, even you and I, and we both come from some pretty decently rough neighborhoods, and you and I still don't like that sort of persona of hoodrific. We like you. It's funny because you said I show up to my business meetings in a 3-piece suit, and I laughed when we had our conversation the other day because I was laughing in the background because I was like, and he know me. I'm the same way. I showed up to a club and told them I was going to take over your club on this day. This is what I'm going to do at your club. And the guy only worked with me because I was dressed decent and I looked like a businessman. I didn't look like a hoodlum.
Yeah, man, you gotta look like them. You know what I mean?
There's definitely a personification of hip hop artists. A lot of hip hop artists sit back and think that this is what we can do. We can just go out and, you know, as long as we're gun toting and selling drugs, then we're gonna make it. We're gonna be famous. And, you know, there's guys that have been in the industry for, you know, 10, 15, 20 years like us that sit back and laugh and go, no, bro, you better show up in a suit, because, you know, you're going to be asking some very wealthy people, no matter what color they are, you're going to be asking some very wealthy people for their money in order to make them more money. And you better look the part.
I mean, you got to think about it. The most dangerous individual is an individual that's intelligent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can go to anybody's neighborhood and stand out in a good way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And people be like, oh, damn, he might shoot me in the face. But at the same time, I'd rather be feared as a businessman, because someone fear you in the street that's going to get you shot. You know what I mean? Someone fear you in business is going to get you a shot.
Ooh, I like that. I mean, can I borrow that?
Hey, man, yeah, do what you do, man.
That was clean.
I mean,
clean, brother.
It's the truth, though, man. You can't sit here and be scared to go do or go get what you got to get. You know what I mean? My son is 13. I have to be able to put him in college in 5 years.
That's,
you know what I mean?
Right there.
And that business side is what fuels me. You know what I mean? Because it's like chasing a female, a bad female. You can do everything in your power to get in her underwear. But with business, yeah, you know what I mean? But in business, a lot of rappers, a lot of artists, period, seem to be intimidated by it. You know what I mean? If you don't believe in yourself as an individual, I don't know what you're doing for. A lot of people like to say I'm California cocky, but I'm not. I'm good at what I do, and I can sit in a business meeting and talk percentages and talk money with some of the richest people. That's how Dame Dash and Jay-Z made it. That's how Puffy made it. Your music speaks for itself, but your business has to speak for your music.
Hell, we've seen artists that don't have music that's even. I've seen guys let's be real. I've even had a track or two here or there that could have had some national prominence had it been done the right way, and et cetera, et cetera. We all know the routine. We all got dope lyrics, but can you spit down and can you spit dope business to a business owner? Because a business owner don't give a damn about your lyrics.
Yeah, I mean, rappers and athletes come a dime a dozen.
I was just about to say that too. You stole the words right out of my mouth. Rappers are a dime a dozen. Good, solid business contacts are far and few in between.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
That's what I learned over the years in this business.
At Bars Fest, Colorado Springs, Christine was so excited. She was like, "You're like an educated thug." She's like, "I learned so much from you just going around with this show and everything," because this was the first show she immediately was involved with as far as planning and everything.
Okay.
So to sit down and talk to me and pick my brain, and I'm like, "Well, we gotta have this. This has to be right," you know. She was like, "Whoa." You know, I didn't notice how intense you are when it comes down to business. And I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? I've been asked, what is my outline for working for me? And I was like, if you can't work harder than I do for the same thing, that means you're not going to be able to make it.
You're not ready. You're not fit.
You know what I mean? It's a 24-hour job, 7 days a week. You know what I mean? Sometimes I wake up with ideas and it pulls me right out my sleep.
Let's go.
You know what I mean? And that's the same thing with lyrics and music. Sometimes I'm so tuned in to what I'm having to do, it'll drag me out my sleep.
That's, you know, it's that drive is always a blessing to see, if you ask me. And I sit back and I go, you know, this man is from the streets. Like, folks, don't get it twisted. This guy grew up in Long Beach, California. He's not from the nicest neighborhood. He's not from the big houses. And so, you know, coincidentally, I see a reflection of myself through the individual that I see in front of me. Now, I think I might be a pinch older than you, but either way, whether I am or not is neither here nor there. Age is defined by experience, not necessarily how old you literally are. I know old people that have never been through shit, and I know young people that would make an old person run scared and tuck tail. It's just part of life.
Yeah. I mean, right now, the powers that be in my family, so the parents and everything, my dad, my grandmother, it's always welcoming when they back you up and they support what you're doing. And I think I didn't get that drive and was comfortable with that drive until my grandmother was accepting what I do as a career.
Are you talking about Thea?
No, I'm talking about my grandmother. I'm talking about my dad, because Thea was always there.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
I know. I've talked to Thea on the phone, I think, once.
Yeah, I sat in a room and decided to be an entertainer and go 100% with this. And I talked to her about it, and she was like, "Go ahead." And that was 06. I didn't even write music until probably 07.
But I think people think that somewhere along the lines, rap has become this get-rich scheme. It's not really a get-rich scheme at all. As a matter of fact, it's quite.
It's not. A lot of us are broke.
Yeah, a lot of us. Everything we got is tailed back into it. A lot of us got second day jobs. I mean, hell, even I cook at a restaurant part-time just to have some extra cash. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, this business is definitely rough, but it's rough enough to weed out the weak individuals that can't make it.
It's kind of like training camp on an NFL football team, you could say.
You can definitely say it's like that, you know what I mean? Because you're in the public eye, and a lot of rappers are waiting on so-called managers to make them rich. And then they'll be 50 years old waiting on their manager to drop one single. And then what? Then you just put focus into something that you could have been successful in if you didn't wait on another individual.
Hell yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I told you I'd have a topic to discuss for you, and it's I found one that would hit close to home for both of us. As a matter of fact, on the show today, the topics that we have were Oregon medical marijuana goes recreational. We'll discuss that in the third segment. And in the second segment, we have cannabis might be the next migraine drug. For you,
Yeah.
I've got Dope Falls from the Sky. So here it is, 26-pound bundle of marijuana falls from the sky through Arizona family's carport, destroying the dog's sleeping cage. And
boy.
it says, Maya Donnelly awoke to what sounded like thunder in the early morning hours, but dismissed it as a typical monsoon storm and went back to sleep. Later that morning, she looked out in the carport at her home in Nogales. For those of you that don't know where Nogales is, it's on the border of Arizona, New Mexico, a little bit south of Tucson. And so this is near the U.S.-Mexico border, and saw pieces of wood on the ground. She found a bulky bundle wrapped in black plastic. Inside was roughly 26 pounds of marijuana, a package that authorities say is worth about 10 grand. And like, man, who y'all selling to? 10 grand? That's worth at least 2,500. Wait, is it swag? Where is it swag though? You know, if it's swag, it's
if it's swag, they
it's
might
only worth
well
about 10 grand, yeah. But if
yeah,
it's
they might
dodo,
well
that's
take
worth like
that back.
26 grand. Where y'all getting y'all numbers from?
Yeah, man, because that had to be.
Because at 26 pounds, you're gonna get it at about $1,000 a pound.
Yeah, but that had to be swag because medical is too soft to break anything falling from anywhere.
Well, not only that, but even if you bricked up medical, it wouldn't it wouldn't go into that bricking system the same way. Like you're saying, there's not, the extra way for the seeds, the extra way for the sticks, it isn't all there.
That is definitely the wood. That is the dinosaur of marijuana that you're talking about right now.
Swag brick from Mexico. If you're from the West Coast, you know about that life.
yeah, you know what I mean? I remember we used to call that shit pretendo. You know what I mean? But see, it used to be green and it looked like dough. It's considered bottom shelf in a dispensary out here.
It's that $15 an eighth weed.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But you talk about brick weed, I haven't seen stress since maybe 2010.
Okay, so you want me to blow your mind?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, man. You ready for this one? Because this was a breaker right here. So when I first got to Florida, right? And by the way, for those of you watching either publicly or if you watch this later on the if you just replay it later, I'm about to put up a picture of this doghouse that got smashed by weed on the screen here. But anyway, so when I first got to Florida, I bought a quarter ounce of some straight swag, bro.
Whoa.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is I had to smoke a buttload of it. Trust me. Just coming from that Colorado culture, I had to smoke a crap load of this said swag to even get a buzz. But man, the body high was so much different because I'm traditionally a sativa smoker. If I smoke indica, it's because I'm getting ready to go to bed and I don't mind being put in the couch. Yeah. So for me, that was the one right there. Was I bought a quarter ounce of some swag and I got stupid.
That's $25, ain't it?
No, not out here. No, it was a little bit more expensive. I think the people I had just met them, and I think I was getting jacked around because I now have Ace. I can get Ace for $30 or $40, which is only $5 to $10 over market in Colorado. It's really not. It's really
I know. I know, because I can go to Live Well and get an Ace for $8.
Yep, Live Well. Those are
yeah. Oh yeah, you know what I mean. Shout out to Natural Selections too.
Right.
My boy Brandon.
Stay with me. I'm gonna put you on hold. We're gonna go into a break. I got to do a couple commercials. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be here.
You won't hear anything while you're on hold, and we'll be right back. Of course, we'll be right back after the break. Check us out on Facebook and give us a like. That's High Tide Stick on Facebook. Make sure you give us a like. We love you folks out there. Of course, you know that. And of course, we'll be back right after the break. Have a song for an album? Yeah, I bet you do. Well, check out Trey Zona's album coming out tomorrow. That's brought to you by Trey Zona LLC, Living Art Tattoo, are proud to present to you the latest mix album by Mr. Trey, available September 30th. Want access to the tracks early? Stop by ReverbNation.com. That's ReverbNation.com/MISTATRE and download songs before the mix drops Wednesday. High Tide Stick with the doc Mr. Trey is brought to you by NOAA. That's New Opportunities Aiding the Homeless. We all need a little help sometimes. Here's your chance to give back. Like Noah on Facebook. That's New Opportunities, Aiding the Homeless. And remember to give back. Oh, yeah. So we are back from break. We got, of course, my man, my dude, Mr. Bars Fest himself, the big young Fattz on the line with us. So now that we're back from break, we got the, the commercials and deals out the way, as we say in this business. So I want to get back to that. So what did you think about that story about the weed fall apart? First off, would you turn it in? You personally, I mean.
No, I saw that shit, depending on where I'm at.
Hey, weed used to fall from the sky in Pueblo back in the day before this stuff was legit in Colorado. And that's all I'm gonna say, bro.
Hey, that's that drop off on accident.
That's that real dirty South drop, huh?
Yeah, that is, man.
Like from Mexico, dirty South.
Yeah, that's why brickweed was so popular in California, because you could just go down to Mexico and get it for nothing. You know what I mean? Now you got dispensaries with 5 billion names to different weeds. You know what I mean? Like out here, they got warehouses, grow houses that's in warehouses. You just drive down the freeway and just get a whiff of that good old Colorado bomb smell.
Tell me that Colorado, when you drive down the street, you know what I'm talking about. Like, I've walked down the street, I've drove down the street, I've biked down the street on motorcycle and pedal biking. Either way,
yeah.
If you're within a block or two of a dispensary or a grow warehouse, that distinct pungent smell of Colorado air is amazing.
Yeah, it's a difference. You get out, once you get here, you're driving down I-70, and once you get into the city limits, and you start passing Potomac and Peoria and all them areas with warehouses that's growing green.
What I call the cannabis district.
Yeah, and then you know what I mean, and that smell is coming through them vents into the atmosphere. You know what I mean? Just that smell can get you the munchies. You know what I mean? At Bars Fest, I had some candy that had me so damn high, man. I was stupid in there. You know, of course, after performing, you know, I don't get faded before I hit the stage. So we was in there. We had a Pearl Vodka in there representing and whatnot, and you know, I was getting everybody's shots, and I was like, man, I don't want to drink right now. I drink at the after party. So I ate one of these little candies,
Oh
man.
no!
Look like
You went to the edibles.
Oh boy,
edibles will do you in.
Dude, 30 minutes, 30 minutes,
hour
45
later,
minutes later. Oh boy. It felt like I was standing at the top of a like mountain looking down at everybody, and they was like ants. Hello down there. Hello.
You had that out of body euphoria high going on, huh?
I did. It was like 500 milligrams in that thing.
That's pretty potent. That's some pungent weed right there.
That is, dude. That shit would have you sitting in VIP, looking at everybody shaking their butt and whatnot. You sitting there like, I need to get up. So it must have been a sativa body high, because I felt sleepy as hell, but I was high. No,
that's indica. That's indica. When you feel sleepy, that's that indica high. That sativa high. I tell people all the time, you know, I had my own. I tell people I speak very openly about addiction, as I want to help anybody and everybody I can curb that that problem. But I can tell you that one thing I'll tell you, man, is I don't know why anybody does any hard drugs, because I'm telling you, get you a double sativa, and you take a dab hit of that, and you ain't going to bed till tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
I mean, on some real stuff, like you don't need all that funny business.
Yeah, man. Everything else is extracurricular, because you know I'm blowing blunts all day long. And out here, they got weed even for females that's pregnant. So you don't smoke it, you take it in pill form. I even heard they got pills for periods and cramps and shit. So
yeah, that's weed has been known for quite some time, actually, as a potential you know, device or substance that can curb menstruational type related cramps or pain.
Yeah,
it's been known for quite a while, actually, which is funny, but a lot of people don't know that. By the way, everybody out there, if you're listening or watching, don't forget to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. High Tide Stick, of course, is the name. You can also catch us on Instagram and Twitter. Matter of fact, at Bars Fest, BARZ Fest, is how you can follow my man Young Fattz as well, and keep up on what's going on with Bar Fest. So don't forget to follow everybody on Twitter, guys. You know, do your part on Twitter. Why would you be calling me in the middle of my show?
Man, this is how bomb that candy was. Now, everybody that was in the speakeasy was chilling, right?
Right.
And then the patrons that was left in that club was drinking. Now, everybody is having a good time in speakeasy. We come outside, and the people that was just drinking was out there having a fist fight and everything, right?
Right.
This is my thing. If you don't want to legalize marijuana, then don't. But if you go to a bar 9 times out of 10, they're going to be fighting in there. We was in a marijuana bar, and everybody was hugging and singing Kumbaya.
You know what's funny is, if there's, you know, it's kind of ironic, but I've never seen a lot of violence surrounding the marijuana industry in Colorado, and that's something that I've become accustomed to. Whereas like out here, it's like dog eat dog, cutthroat, like D-boy crack dealing out here over weed.
Oh yeah, man, because people don't know how to do their job, man. If y'all out there and you got the money, buy you a dispensary. Don't come to Colorado, go to Washington. There's no room for you here. I'm just gonna be real. But you
I think I'm in Florida. I'm trying to be ahead of the curve. You know, we're trying to legalize recreational out here in 2016. We've already got the ballot votes. Now we just got to get, I believe the money's been raised. I was reading something yesterday that said the money's been raised in order to ensure that there will be a vote by the people. And I'm looking at it as in the midterms. Now, when we talk politics, I don't know how adverse you are into politics. I know that you chop it up with politicians like I do. but in how politics works, the percentages, the voting, the demographics, you know, all that stuff. I don't know if you're into that, but that's what I was a political science major in college, and I can tell you that Democrats are who's going to legalize your pot. Pure, done, end of story. That's just the way it works in politics. Conservatives are going to block it. Democrats are going to approve your pot. Out here in Florida, it was a 4% differential. 40, I think it was like 52 to 48 or something like that.
Yeah.
Percentage. I mean, they were literally like 4% from passing it or something like that. But either way, that was on a midterm election, which is generally going to be conservatively heavy. A lot of Republicans vote in the midterms. Democrats tend to be a little lazy unless it's a general election. So Colorado tried this too, where they tried to get it passed on a midterm, and it flopped. It did terrible. It did so bad I didn't think it was going to pass when they put it on the general election, and then it did. I think that 2016 is going to be our time out here in Florida now, and that's how you know I'm getting acclimated. I might still got my Pikes Peak Community College hoodie on right now this morning, but I'm getting acclimated to I'm part of this community too now. And
man, you gotta think about it. Marijuana got Colorado out of debt, and Colorado was one of the states that was in the biggest debt or the deepest debt in America. So
most of their money comes from federal funding due to the military there. Yeah,
but see now, marijuana funding and everything is going to the schools.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, 40 million. You people hear me say this on my show all the time, guys. You want at least a good outline on how to do it? Look at Colorado.
Yeah.
A shout out to the Box State, because $40 million goes to taxes for schools to be built. Pueblo was the first example of this working at a city hierarchy level and being successful, as they not only had the $40 million in tax revenue that they had to pony up, but after that they still had a surplus in tax revenue. I think it was somewhere, it might have been almost another $40 million or something like that.
Yeah, it was a little over that, but see, marijuana is a lucrative business.
Very.
You know what I mean? And then you got to think about everybody smoke weed. You might as well make it legal. There was 420 Fest going on down here before they legalized it, and police was just standing by and watching you smoke it. I've seen officers. You talking
about at the Capitol, or the smoke out of the Capitol? Oh yeah.
At the Capitol, at Boulder, at CU, at Metro, all the colleges. There was, and especially in Boulder, they was having 30,000-40,000 people out there smoking weed, driving all the way up to Boulder just to do that.
Well, you gotta look at this too. Is at what point when your own governor and your own mayors are saying, hey, don't go down there and arrest nobody. Don't go down there and start no problems. Don't go down there and bring it up to ruckus officers. Let these folks do their business, and then we'll get them out of there. And the funny thing is, like you and I have talked about just in this show, but on many of shows of mine that I've talked about, is that show me the violence spree. The only people bringing violence to marijuana is some major corporations, and I don't mean violence as physical violence, but that's more like corporate violence. Forcing mom and pop shops to close because you have a football field size warehouse for growing in a football, and for veg and flour. You got two of these things, stuff like that. That's corporate violence. But show me legit violence. I mean, there was an incident a couple weeks ago with Speakeasy, but it wasn't related to weed.
Yeah. I mean, you got to think about it. You go somewhere, someone sees someone they have an issue with, that's going to happen.
Beef going to be beef.
Yeah, but to sit there like I did at Speakeasy, at Buzz Fest this weekend or last weekend, and the people at Buzz Fest wasn't fighting. It was none of the patrons for Buzz Fest that was into any violence. It was the people that was drunk off their ass at the bar that was fighting in the parking lot. The bar next door to it. Yeah, the bikini bar.
You want me to hit on that right with you and back you on that 100%? I have never had anybody try to fight me at the Speakeasy. And you see me, I carry myself as a very outgoing, very open person, but also as a very try me if you want some mother and you'll get it. Because that's just what the hell I am. And I just grew up in a neighborhood where, don't want none, won't get none. But if you want it, I got it. It's that simple. So with that said, I have almost been in 2 fights at that bikini bar. I have never almost been in a fight, period, at the Speakeasy. And I even had some friends, we'll call them, kind of gangish member type people. try to punk me when I was DJing for that bar.
Yeah.
So it makes perfect sense to me.
It's the marijuana is a violent weed. Think of it like this: if they allow football players to smoke marijuana, the NFL players, there'll be a lot less to talk about on NFL Network.
Because that's 90% of their stuff is Woogie got busted smoking pot again.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Why you tripping on him smoking pot?
You know, there's only one Ray Rice knocking his wife out in an elevator incident a year. There's only one Tom Brady cheating incident every 3 years. There's only one, you know, big, you know, what's the other one? Adrian Peterson, you know, with the kid issue, with the child abuse issue. That's once a year issues. Everything else you got is on pot.
Dude, on that piece, you got to whip your kids. Because if you don't, when they get to be teenagers, you're either gonna be scared of your kids, or the police is gonna kill them.
Yep. I think, you know, they always say, like, they look at us and they go, you guys are hardened and you guys are hard knocking. I always laugh at them and I go, please. The thing is that my mom beat the hell out of me.
I'm terrified of my grandmother.
To the degree of respect that I'm 34 years old. I will step out in the street right now and fight a cop. I will not fight my mom.
Yeah. Our grandmother has put it in me where even today I'll do something, or I'll think about doing something and I hear that voice, boy, I beat your goddamn ass. Disrespect this family if you want to, boy.
Try being half Puerto Rican and living with your white family. Boy, I'll beat the brown off of you.
Oh, boy.
I can't tell you how many times I heard that.
I think I got the closest thing to Medea. I think they saw my grandmother and made Medea out of her because, you know, my grandmother flew to Colorado with a pistol in her bra. Now, how did she do that?
Oh my God, that's gangster.
You know what I mean?
I want to meet her, dude. Like, for real.
Look, she was like, she had my son with her, and you know, her and Jason came out here, and when she got here, she was like, "Baby, can you mail this to me?" And I was like, "What are you doing with this?"
How did you get this?
Yeah, she was like, "Let that goddamn Taliban do something to my baby. I'm gonna blow their mother head off." I was like, "Hoorah,
that is the difference between West Coast and Midwest grandmas, right there. West Coast grandma, my grandma is Irish from the West Coast. She's my step grandma, and she will shoot you.
Yeah. My grandmother is from Chicago.
Oh God,
43rd.
You know she
43rd and MLK.
Oh man.
She don't take nothing. And keep in mind, she's 88 years old. Still drives to Vegas by herself. Has a 2012 STS on 20s on D's.
Oh, grandma rides like a straight up thug.
Yeah, so you know, it's I guess all that time in California and Chicago got her stuck.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. I've got the next topic. Get your take on this, because I know that we come from very similar backgrounds, and that's why you crack me up, because your family. I always tell everybody, there's also, you know, a black grandma will beat the black off you. You know what? So will my white grandma. Just saying. Yeah. So it's just funny. Grandmas back, they're just from a different time where they didn't take none. You had to be tough. So here's the thing: is I suffer from migraines from playing football. Sometimes, you know, temporary or short-term memory loss. A lot of people actually think it's from weed, and I always laugh at them. I go, no, it's from concussions. So there's been a new study that's been done, and this article, of course, comes from our friends over at High Times Magazine. It says cannabis might be the next migraine drug. I'm going to read you a little bit of this and then kind of get your take on it here, what you think on it before we go to the next break. A recent review of medical literature, courtesy of the Headache Center at Cleveland Clinic Neurological Institute in Cleveland, Ohio, has shown that cannabis has a potential for therapeutic effects and for the treatment of headaches, disorders, including migraines. Some British doctors have been treating headaches and migraines with cannabis since the 1840s, but nearly worldwide prohibition in the 20th century has made medical cannabis research pretty much grind to a dead standstill or a halt until you know, fairly recently in places like Colorado and Washington and California and Oregon. Some evidence exists for treating headaches, disorders with cannabis, but nowadays the standards for prescription drugs have risen so high, and researchers need to prove how effective or efficient the drug can be for patients before it can be legalized as a headache medicine. Hopefully, the recent publication that came out will act as a spark to initiate new research into cannabis headache research and treatment, so doctors can start prescribing it. Sufferers now of the pain of migraines and the what's called a cluster headache deserve a treatment that's not only functional but also avoids harmful side effects. And when they talk about the side effects, I can tell you that if you've ever had like a migraine that's lasted for more than a couple of days, I can promise you that you ended up in the ER and you got a shot in your butt cheek, and whatever the hell that is that they give you makes them go away. I've been there. My ex-wife had migraines real bad like that. So what do you think about this? I have to say that I say yes, but you've got to have the right strain.
They're trying to allow NFL players to use marijuana for medical purposes for healing. Thea has bad migraines and she smokes weed and gets rid of it. So I think, you're right. You have to have the right strain and it has to be strong enough, you know what I mean? Because people here got red cards because of medical because of migraines, and let's be real, pills break down your body.
Yes,
Vicodin,
it's the bonding agent. It's not
etc.
necessarily even the medicine in the pill, but it's the bonding agent that the pill is bonded with that usually tends to be what's break down or gets stopped up or clogs up your insides.
Yeah, did you get stomach aches and groggy and funny feeling when you take Vicodin or whatever people take for pain pills? I'd rather smoke 2 or 3 blunts and be cool. You know what I mean? When I was playing football, and I was smoking 2 blunts before a football game, where I had some of my, let's say, crazier friends taking things like Vicodin, making me numb during the game. But the thing is, after the game, when you wake up that next morning and everything hits you at once, you're going to wish you didn't take that Vicodin. You want to feel that pain so your body can acknowledge that pain ahead of time. Because when you're laying in your room, your dorm, your hotel room, your bedroom after a football game, and you've went through the process of soaking and everything before you got home, when you wake up in the morning, it don't matter what you do. If you didn't feel it when it happened, it's going to hit you.
Right.
It's going to hit you hard.
Well, I'll tell you what, stick around. We're going to go to break. And when we get back from break, we're going to continue our conversation with Fattz. We're going to talk about Bar Fest coming up in Tampa. Of course, so much more on this show, so little time left in it. We're going to the third segment. When we get back, we talk about Oregon medical marijuana goes recreational. And, I guess the big question for a lot of people the big question for a lot of people is Oregon ready? That's the real question. Is Oregon ready for that big push? So you're, of course, on High Tide Stick. I'm the Doc, Mr. Trey. We got Fattz on the line with us from Bars Fest. We'll be right back after the break.
Number one son, spread joy for the world, all for one mind. Yeah, man, we smoke all day, so go God's man. Don't never surrender me and some wrong. 17, I told you, feels so good. Never thought I'd bring the island straight to the hood. But tonight's more fireflies and black charms, whatever now is conversation like we take the party like we should.
You're listening to me, the Doc, Mr. Trey, on YouTube Live. Yes, I'm a real doctor, like Dr. Phil is a real doctor, only sexier. Bald, but sexier. Oh, yeah. High Tide Stick is proud to partner with NOAA. That's New Opportunities Aiding the Homeless. High Tide Stick with the Doc, Mr. Trey is brought to you all week by NOAA. We all need a little help at some point. Here's your chance to give back. Go on Facebook and like NOAA. That's New Opportunities Aiding the Homeless. And remember to give back. High Tide Stick is brought to you by Trezona Graphic Design. Trezona Graphic Design, leading Colorado Springs and Tampa Bay in graphics for events, concerts, weddings, and more. Visit us on Facebook at Trezona. That's Trey and Arizona pushed together. You can also email us at trezonallc@gmail.com. You're listening to High Tide Stick on YouTube. High Tide Stick reminds you that marijuana should only be consumed by legal adults of age 21 or up. So don't do anything stupid on marijuana, like get caught by your parents.
Just a man from my team, yeah. All football was lost, but now I'm back on my team, yeah.
All right, we are back. We got, of course, the illustrious, the elusive, the, well, the cool as hell, Young Fattz.
What up? What up? What up?
You know, I'll tell you, you know what my catch line used to be, and I want to let you know, as egotistical as it sounds, and with so many accusations of me being an egotistical jerk off, all lies, by the way, for anybody who really knows me. But the Paul Richards from KRDO News Channel 13 ABC right in the Springs, when I worked for them, he used to I'd come into the studio and I'd be coming to do my sports report. He'd be like, all right, coming up after the break, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Trey. And I was like, if you would have just followed that with like Dirty Trey, you would have sounded like what's his name on Dennis Miller on Joe Dirt.
Oh yeah.
The saga of Dirty Trey.
sometimes the persona of you know, you got to play into that sometimes. Because I get that at times, like I'm a asshole, like when it comes to business or whatever.
You're not an ass? What? No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, man, it ain't my fault, man. Sometimes things have to be. It has to be. That's cool boys, dude, for real. Because you got to think about it. I've been compared to Dame Dash slightly because I've taken that persona. So like you say, sometimes you have to be an ass to take care of business, or else people will just push over you.
Like we talked about that. Remember our conversation? I think it was Friday, or maybe it was Thursday or whatever. It was last week sometime. But we talked about that, and I told you, I said, if people, I guarantee you, Brian Cortez and some of the other folks downtown at the clubs downtown and up north aren't going to tell you the exact content or the degree of the conversation we had, but I can promise you that I had to go in there and pretty much tell them what I was gonna do and how I was gonna make them money and what they were gonna do for me. And then I tell people, as I go, if you really know me, you know that I'm probably one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. I'm a fun-loving guy, but make no mistake about it. I get what I want when I want and how I want. It's the way it goes. It's the way it should be. There are worker bees, and then there are kings. And I'm not a worker.
Yeah.
I work hard.
Yeah,
I'm not a worker.
I can't work for no one and having to keep them happy. You know what I mean? I know working for me ain't the best, but at the same time, I'm not the type of person that's gonna bother you. I'm gonna trip on you if you're not working as hard as I am.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you have to have, everybody has to work on the same level to be successful in this music business. Because if you're one person that's successful out of 15 people that you work with, you know what I mean, then that envy is going to start appearing. People are going to be like, you only work on you, You know what I mean?
Oh, that's my favorite one. I mean, not to throw him under the bus, but you don't know how many times I heard that from Rich. And I was like, if I'm constantly mentioning our company name, then I'm not working on just me. I'm working on the company. If you want me to work on you, you need to get your ass up and come out with me. I've directly had to deal with people who really thought they could just sit at home in the studio and do nothing except make music and that they would make it. Like that's to me, that's hip hop egomania right there. When you think that you're so good that you don't have to do anything to make it. And then you got cats like me and you sitting back and going, homie, I'm 100 times better an artist than you. And I'm working 10 times harder than you and I'm still not making it. You ain't figured out that ain't the formula?
Yeah, because some people sit in the studio and collect music, but never go out. You know what I mean? If you're selling dope, if you're selling dope, you still got to go out and meet these people that smoke dope to be able to sell your product to these people in the street. Therefore, even in crack sales, you got to get out and get it. There's no job or there's no way of making money sitting at home. I mean, shit, even these females that's doing live chats and playing with themselves on the internet is got to move and got to do something. They got to promote themselves.
They out there sending emails to go to my spam because I get them too.
Dude, I see.
Oh man, I made the mistake though, man. I signed up for it. Okay, so I was single for like 4 months, which is for me. Anybody who knows me, I always got a bad shorty on my arm. So for me to be single for 4 or 5 months is like an eternity for me. In the last 15 years, I hadn't been single for more than a month, literally.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's right, ladies. It's that good. Don't forget it. You know, on some real, like I literally have women. I don't want to say in a line, but you could kind of say that. Like there are women that tell me all the time, if your girl mess up, I'm finna date you. If your girl mess up, I'm finna date you. And then there's ones that tell me after we start dating, like, hey man, ever since I known you, I was like, man, boy, that girl mess up, I'm dating. But I go, but again, it goes down to this, is that there isn't anything special about me. I just know how to laugh, have a good time, and be honest. I smoke a lot of weed. If you can handle that, then we're good. I don't drink. I don't hit on women. I don't beat children. I don't slap people around. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a mean guy. As a matter of fact, I'm actually a well-trained fighter. And I don't want to get in, I don't like to give away my secrets, but we'll just say that I'm a well-trained fighter. And I haven't had to put my hands on anybody in probably 10 years other than, you know, a manhandle, you know, like, hey, knock it off or I have to really put you down. But and it's just one of those things where I look at it and I go, you don't have to be that person. Like there's so much violence in like alcoholism and there's so much violence in all these other things that it just blows my mind at how, you know, marijuana gets such a bad rap. And then you look at all the violence that's associated with things like liquor and with things like you know, heroin or methamphetamine or cocaine and all the violence that surrounds that. That's not even drug dealer violence. You know what I mean? Like legit, just, you know, I can't get my fix today, so I'm going to beat the shit out of my wife.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean,
that's not amongst weed.
Nah. I saw something on the internet where it said that marijuana causes violence. I can see marijuana causing violence if you're not smoking weed, you know what I mean? Because I know I have a short fuse, and to smoke a blunt or two gives me the fuck it syndrome. You know what I mean? In other words, I could be walking down the street and a group of individuals is staring at me if I'm high. If I'm high off a blunt, I look at them and be like, fuck it.
Yeah.
But if I'm drunk and not high, or if I'm sober, 9 times out of 10, I'm like, what's cracking, homie? What you looking at?
See, that's that West Coast and my boy right there. What's cracking, son? What's
cracking? You know what I mean? And I'm trying, you know, I'm trying to be less aggressive and more aggressive towards my business. So I smoke a lot of weed. You know, it keeps me away from being violent, you know what I mean? Because my California self was a very violent individual. Plus, I'm short, you know what I mean? So I had that.
Plus, I'm short, so you know, you and Knox, man, y'all are, you know, I don't consider myself to be a tall person, but you guys are like being around my Puerto Rican family. I feel like Shaq sometimes.
Oh yeah, man, because I was 5'6".
Yeah, you and I are both real short guys.
Yeah,
but hey, don't mess with my boy though, because I ain't short and I got their back.
Oh yeah, man. I've been told my whole life. Thea tell me all the time that I have anger management problems.
Yeah, did she tell you got little man syndrome?
Yeah, she be like, I mean, there's times, bro, that we be out, and town stories has taught me how to keep my cool, but sometimes people don't want to listen and don't want to respect that cool side. And then when you punch them in the mouth, all of a sudden you're being a bully or you're the aggressor.
Yeah, I mean, I've been there too. Like you're the jerk because you finally got fed up with putting up with somebody's assness.
Yeah, sometimes growing up in areas where they say you got to be hard, you got to be aggressive, or people will just run over you. You know what I mean? That's the truth. You know what I mean? I had an incident where someone I chill with, I let them talk to me crazy because I didn't want to mess up any business that had to do with Bars Fest or anything that we do in the studio. And he got a little crazy with his mouth one day, and I had to tell him, like, dude, look, you need to shut the fuck up right now for something happened to you. I'm not just going to sit back and take this no more. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's a respect factor, and I respect everybody. But if someone talks to you in a way that is less respectful, and you are trying to be the better person, sometimes it's better to be Malcolm X than Martin Luther King.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because Martin Luther King was like, hey, man, turn your other cheek. But if I'm turning my other cheek, I'm coming around the opposite way to knock your teeth out your mouth.
Right there too.
Yeah, because I can't sit here and keep being a better person, and at the end of the day, you feel good for being a better person. Nah, because that person that keep talking to you, or those people that keep talking to you in a disrespectful manner, is going to keep doing it because you haven't stopped them.
Wise words from the Fatts. Well, I'll tell you what, we got about a little over a minute left before we got to get out of here. So let me give you this quick story and get your take on it. Portland, Oregon. Right. This one comes from the Associated Press on, this would be KOMOnews.com. Oregon's medical marijuana dispensaries are getting ready for a watershed moment this week when recreational pot users will be able to buy weed at their pot shops. More than 200 of Oregon's 345 medical marijuana dispensaries have notified the Oregon health authorities of plans to sell recreational marijuana starting on Thursday. Though some dispensaries may not qualify right away if they're still in the application process, they haven't been approved. OHA spokesman, that's the Oregon Health Administration, Jonathan Modi said, is this what he was saying? So Oregon passed measure, and this would be measure 91 in November. This last November, that was the law legalizing possessing and growing limited amounts of marijuana for personal use starting July 1st. But the state won't be ready to begin regulating sales until next year. As a temporary stopgap to curb the black market sales, medical dispensaries are allowed to conduct early sales of recreational marijuana tax-free. Me personally, I'm looking at this one going, this might have been where Colorado missed the boat on this one.
Well, they have one day in September where there's no taxes, right? It's called the 420 holiday.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know about that. So they don't charge taxes on weed on that day?
At all. All year they do except for that one day in September, and it's called the 420 holiday. And to be real, that's where they get the majority of their marijuana off, you know what I mean? Because by 5 o'clock that day, there's no dispensary that has anything. When I mean anything, I mean anything in their dispensary.
Damn.
You know what I mean? Because
I buy weed every day, so I didn't notice the discount.
yeah, straight up, dude. Yeah,
well,
straight up.
It has been a pleasure to speak with you today. We're definitely going to get you back on periodically here. I think I'll probably, if I can, get you at least every couple of weeks or so. We'll get you on the show, and we'll just keep talking about Bars Fest and what's coming up this next year, and then Bars Fest Tampa. So for those of you that are either just joining us and or if whether you're just joining us or if you've been with us for a minute now listening to the show, We, of course, just got off the phone with Fattz, or Young Fattz, aka Mr. Barsfest himself, and he has given us his take on this Oregon legalization and stuff. So again, I want to thank all of our listeners, everybody who was part of the show. Again, don't forget to like us on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram. All of that is, of course, High Tide Stick, or at High Tide Stick. Check us out on YouTube. Right now, of course, you can watch the live broadcast, or you can catch the broadcast on re-air. Either way, it's been my pleasure to talk pot with you today. I'm the Doc, Mr. Trey, and you've been on High Tide Stick. Sucker fish!